Hi, I'm Joyce Schrum with thebayonet.com, and this is Election Watch 2018. And joining me right now is Jack Bailey, and he is running for Senate District 29. And thank you for joining us, Jack.
Thank you, Joy.
Let's touch back on the healthcare, because you had mentioned that, and working with Dr. Geary. What are your plans to improve healthcare for folks in St. Mary's County?
Well, one of the biggest challenges we have right now in healthcare is our opioid issue.
Yes.
Right? Substance abuse addiction is a major problem. Very fortunate in St. Mary's County, Sheriff Tim Cameron has been in charge for the governor on the opioid task force. There's been a lot of education, a lot of studies done, and one thing that's starting to work, I was just talking to him about this the other day, our young people are not dying at the rate that they were. Our young people, so we are doing something right, and we're doing it right here, and we need to work together to figure out what that is so we can inspire and work better at it. The other thing is our mental health issues, especially with the schools. We need to work to inspire mental health. When we're talking about local issues when it comes to healthcare, just because we live in St. Mary's County, a rural county, we should get the same insurance and the same coverage that people get when they're up the road in Baltimore or Montgomery County. That's what I'm talking about when I talk about healthcare.
Another big change on the medical side of things recently is medical marijuana places that have been opening, particularly in Southern Maryland. And do you think that medical marijuana is maybe a good alternative to help battle the opioid epidemic?
What I would say, this was a change for me in my life because I was a drug recognition expert. So from the police realm, that marijuana was supposed to be a bad thing. Right. But now that I have seen and witnessed and talked to people that are being treated, and it's actually diagnosed and given out by a doctor. So it is a medication. And even though it is marijuana, it's a medication, and I'm fine with that. And if that goes to help people and to ease their pain and help them with diagnosed issues, it's fine.
Let's talk about the economic development in St. Mary's County. What would you do as a senator to try and draw in more business, more jobs, and really help St. Mary's County thrive? And that would kind of tie into the governor's plan to Maryland's Open for Business. That initiative that he started.
Change Maryland, reduce taxes, create opportunities for small businesses. Yes, that's right. And right here in St. Mary's County, we are open for business. Since I became a candidate, I've been very privileged to have tours and to receive briefings, whether it was started with the Navy Alliance, the airport, the base, Nav Air, NACAD, all of those issues that are big to us in St. Mary's. That's what we need to be looking forward to. We take in $42 billion a year. The one thing that I've seen, it's a money in and then it's a money out. And we need to increase the money that actually stays here. We have a lot of expertise that is on the base. We need to bring that expertise outside. When I was at the airport and I saw the way we're retrofitting airplanes and we're starting to make locations where we can manufacture and actually bend metal, that's the way that we need to work forward. We need to bring manufacturing to the degree that we can to support the base so that we keep as much of that $42 billion here locally.
But how do we do that? How do we get them to do that and move here to St. Mary's County?
Well, have you been to the airport? Mm-hmm. Have you seen what we're doing there?
A little bit.
Okay.
I haven't had a tour or anything myself, but I'm up to date with a little bit of the changes that are going on there.
So just the first round of changes there from, if I remember correctly, is the ability to inspire and create 700 jobs.
Yes.
Right? That's the way we're going to do it. Right? And the fact is, when, as a senator, I will be responsible for competing for grants and bringing the money back to St. Mary's County so that then we can use the money that we get from the state to inspire that.
Okay, let's talk about school safety. This is obviously a hot topic and on the minds of many, and there's a lot of concerns. What would you like to see done here in St. Mary's County and Calvert County to ensure the safety of our students?
School safety is paramount. It's one of it should be really our highest priority, to make sure that when, as a parent, you drop your child off, as a child, you're in a classroom, as a teacher's in that classroom, everybody knows that they're safe, right? And the thing is, that safety has to be brought in from our community. It can't be dictated in unfunded mandates that come from Annapolis down here. It has to be done locally. Our safety, and we're very fortunate to be in St. Mary's and Calvert County. Our schools are much safer than the majority of the schools in and around Maryland. Our sheriffs and our sheriff's departments are doing a great job. And I just want them to know that I have all the faith in the world in them. They work with our county commissioners, our boards of education, and our superintendents as they work forward to move forward with safety. We had a small step this year in the legislature moving forward. It was an unfunded mandate that we do about 75% of already. It's going to create us to hire some extra people when it comes to resource officers and mental health providers, right, in the schools, so that we're going to have more expense. But it should have come with more funding from the state, and it didn't. There was a bill that the governor had put forward, and that bill had $50 million to come every year. I wish that bill had been supported by our senator, rather than him trying to put his own agenda in.
What do you want to see done in schools? Are you talking about more school resource officers, metal detectors?
What I would like to see is the process work the way it should. The fact is, the school board, the superintendent, the sheriff, and the commissioners control the money.
Right.
Right? And they know the threat level and the different things that exist at each school. My job is to try to get them as much funding as I can to assist them in making their decisions. Would I like to see a metal detector at every school? Absolutely. But that's just not reality the way we are right now with the budget process.
Okay. Do you think school resource officers for the time being would be a good alternative? Would you like to see those at more schools?
I would like to see school resource officers in every secondary school that we have. I think that is a great idea. That, again, is an issue that our county, we are much ahead than many other counties. We're much further ahead. One thing that I can tell you for me personally, and I've talked to both superintendents and both sheriffs about it, as being a retired law enforcement officer and working in different states where they have volunteer programs where retirees are able to help. If there's a way to do it and it incorporated into their plan, I would love to be a part of being able to protect the school. Remember, I've got a lot of skin in this game. I've got a son in 4th grade and a daughter in 8th grade, right? I want to protect every other child's, just like mine are being protected.
And transportation, always a hot topic, especially down here when you're approaching the base. The Thomas Johnson Bridge, which connects St. Mary's and Calvert County, so of both concerns. Do you think the local delegation has done enough to push to get that bridge repaired and or replaced?
I would say this about that bridge, that back in 1987, 1988, when I was just a young officer out on the Patuxent River, got a telephone call one day where my major told me, don't let any boats go underneath the bridge. I said, okay, why is that? He said, because there's a thought that there's no metal in the concrete and the bridge might fall down. So for a while, I did try to stop the boats underneath the bridge to tell everybody on a nice Saturday afternoon that they couldn't go underneath the Solomon's Bridge anymore.
Well, what about the drivers that were going over the bridge?
They stopped the traffic going over the bridge.
Okay.
All right. And then they got us out there in these small police boats stopping everybody to not let them drive underneath of it.
Okay.
And that was just effort that was not successful.
Okay.
Right. Because I think everybody thought we were crazy. Because they were like, and so anyway, they ended up, we then had the ferry system, the people set up in moving back and forth for jobs. And that lasted for a while. And they put the exposed strapping around the bridge. But as I say, I'm pretty sure that was 1988. But it's more than just the Thomas Johnson Bridge. I was down in Ridge the other night, and I came up the road, coming up Route 5, and when I passed Webster Field, it was about 5 o'clock, maybe a little bit before I passed Webster Field, and the traffic stopped. So I start trying to surf to find out where the accident is.
And you probably checked the Baynet, right?
Absolutely. And there's no accidents. And I'm like, wonder what's going on. And so I experienced it firsthand from Webster Field all the way to Great Mills. And I was like, this is unacceptable, right? Our traffic we have to do a better job, because that is just unacceptable what's taking place. And that's just a place that I've been this week and witnessed both of those. And I am sure the frustration that our citizens feel. Transportation issues are going to have to move up to a real priority for us.